Over 500,000 people watched our comprehensive list of Meghan Markle bullying allegations. Time for round two. This one's for the ever expanding Sussex Survivors Club. It's been one of the most detrimental PR periods for Prince Harry and Meghan Markle since they moved to the United States. Harry and Meghan have consistently told the world that they had to escape the British tabloids and the British royal family, who were working hand in hand to tear down the Sussexes' credibility and popularity with false stories of Meghan being a horrible boss. In fact, while promoting Spare, Prince Harry went as far as to accuse the royal family of villainizing the pair, saying to ITV, it never needed to be this way. The leaking, the planting. I want a family, not an institution. They feel as though it's better to keep us somehow as the villains. Is that necessarily true, though? All signs point to exile. I think H&M are pretty much frozen out, persona non grata, not on anyone's radar lately. And some might argue that sitting down for mean-spirited tell-alls, recording a Netflix docu-series disparaging your privileged upbringing and family, and the promise of a bombshell book ready to rock the royals, haunting Queen Elizabeth's delicate and pain-plagued twilight years, pretty villainous behavior. But it all came full circle on September 12th, 2024, when The Hollywood Reporter dropped a significantly damaging investigative piece that disrupted Harry and Meghan's narrative that the British tabloids blatantly lied about them to gain, well, I still don't know. Years before Megxit, rumors circulated about Meghan Markle making Catherine, the Princess of Wales, cry during dress fittings for Meghan's second wedding. According to reports at the time, the pair clashed over bridesmaids' dresses for the royal extravaganza. Meghan stewed on that headline for literal years and couldn't wait to expose her truth to Oprah Winfrey in the middle of a global plague. Although, keep in mind, at least 17 of Meghan's accusations throughout her sit down with Oprah have since been proven false. Just ask the Archbishop. Royal reporter and Telegraph associate editor Camilla Tominey broke the story about Catherine's tears. Explaining the origin years later, Camilla said that two insiders had approached her with the details and fought against Meghan's allegations that it was, in fact, Catherine's fault, causing her to cry instead. It was Meghan, they said, that was the aggressor. So what's the truth? There's no denying that there's no shortage of Meghan Markle was unpleasant here stories. Emails to staff at 5 a.m. chastised if you didn't respond immediately. She has a new email signature now, BT dubs, if you haven't heard. Meghan's private secretary, Samantha Cohen, saying working with Harry and Meghan was like working with teenagers, aka the worst. Samantha even admitted that she was one of the 10 staff members interviewed over Meghan Markle bullying allegations by palace investigators. In a rare interview, the late Queen Elizabeth's former confidant told Australia's Herald Sun for Time with H&M, saying, I was only supposed to stay for 6 months, but stayed for 18. We couldn't find a replacement for me. And when we did, we took them on tour to Africa with Harry and Meghan to show them the ropes, but they left as well while in Africa. Sounds like a hostage situation. To believe the bullying allegations appeared out of thin air after Meghan enchanted the polo prince would make us extremely gullible. According to royal author Tom Bower, Meghan's entitled behavior earned her the nickname Princess long before Prince Harry slid into her DMs. Not a double entendre. The Suits star allegedly bulldozed her way through during a collaboration with Canadian women's clothing store Reitmans, according to Revenge, Meghan, Harry, and the War Between the Windsors. Bower claims Meghan made a series of demands both during filming for the ad campaign and post-production, leaving one director so exhausted he called her out in a Facebook post. According to the book, Jean Malik, one of the directors, posted on Facebook, "She is definitely the meanest person I've ever met. Just saying." The book says one incident occurred in Montreal in March of 2016 when an argument erupted over a commercial script. Working with a different director, Bower quotes Meghan as saying, "Seriously, this doesn't make sense. I'm a brash American, and if my name is going to be on something, I'm going to have my say." With the clash reaching its climax, the author wrote, after furious exchanges, a few script changes were made, only to be rejected by Meghan again. She bulldozed her way through, complained one of the team. No one stood up to her, the book said. It also said, "The princess is coming," snickered one assistant as hard-faced Meghan arrived on set, avoiding eye contact with the crew. She was always fed up, one crew member noted, sighing, huffing, and rolling her eyes at things. It was heavy going working with her. Another claimed that she would be super sweet with her hairdresser Felix and makeup artist Marco, and then within seconds turn to the crew and be super disagreeable. No one dared to contradict Meghan. Keeping their jobs depended on satisfying her demands. Harshly, the book added, during the filming, Meghan was asked, "What Canadian woman inspires you?" She laughed and asked for examples. "None of them inspire me," she replied. "You can't make me say something I don't want to or don't believe in." "That's a wrap," shouted the assistant at exactly 7 p.m. Meghan's agent had already called to warn that her client would not film one extra minute. There was none of the customary "thank you" or "see you again." Meghan departed. To the surprise of the wardrobe staff, she forgot to leave behind the couture high heels. How very Lindsay Lohan of you. Behind the scenes at Kensington Palace, bullying allegations were nothing new. Jason Knauf, a former Kensington Palace communications aide, was challenged with managing media and communications for Prince William, Princess Catherine, Prince Harry, and inevitably Meghan Markle. Jason made his way into the royal household in 2015. He followed the rules and was rising in the ranks when Meghan Markle hit the scene. Upon Meghan's entrance, Jason was asked to break royal protocol for the first time. In November of 2016, just days after H&M's relationship became public knowledge, Harry asked Jason to scold the media on his behalf over their treatment of his new girlfriend. He called out alleged harassment and slammed articles with racial undertones. Jason bent over backwards for the Sussexes. And despite Jason's loyalty, Harry and Meghan made his job quite difficult. In October of 2018, Jason sent an email to Samantha Cohen explaining that 2 employees had been bullied into quitting by Meghan through unacceptable behavior, and Jason was worried about a 3rd employee that could potentially leave under the Sussexes. Jason's email read in part, "I am very concerned that the Duchess was able to bully 2 PAs out of the household in the past year. The treatment of, name redacted, was totally unacceptable." Jason stresses the Duchess seems intent on always having someone in her sights. She is bullying, name redacted, and seeking to undermine her confidence. "We have had report after report from people who have witnessed unacceptable behavior towards name redacted." One anonymous staffer told Jason that her interactions with Meghan made her feel sick, while other mystery staffers told him, "I can't stop shaking and I feel terrified." A palace aide described Meghan's behavior as more like emotional cruelty and manipulation, which I guess could also be called bullying. According to various reports, their anxiety was out the roof, causing them to lose sleep at night. To Jason's point, one of Meghan's ex-best friends, they were close for over 30 years, Nanaki Pretty, told the Daily Mail in 2017, "Meghan can be very cold. It's this shutdown mechanism she has. There's nothing to negotiate. She's made her decision and that's it." The bullying allegations hit the mainstream 2.5 years later in March 2021 when it was published by Valentine Lowe in the newspaper The Times of London. Valentine said the email exchanges were read out loud and he was not given the messages in their original form. He also insists he was shown physical evidence of other conversations backing up the allegation of bullying. The explosive claims came days before Harry and Meghan's interview with Oprah, and the Sussexes wasted no time calling the story a smear campaign and threatening legal action that they unsurprisingly never pursued. Valentine detailed the event in his book Courtiers and explained to Megyn Kelly why the idea of this being a smear campaign by Buckingham Palace was ridiculous. He said, "That's a ludicrous allegation because if you read what I wrote, Buckingham Palace does not emerge well from this. They messed up because they did nothing. These allegations of bullying were made and they just sat on it. So the idea that Buckingham Palace should put this out is a joke. At the time, in a statement, the palace said, "We are clearly very concerned about allegations in the times following claims made by former staff of the Duke and Duchess of Sussex. The royal household does not and will not tolerate bullying or harassment in the workplace." Lowe explained that his article hit the printer prior to the Oprah Winfrey interview strategically, but not vindictively, arguing that the only way the staff's perspective would compete with Harry and Meghan's was if it was released first. He told Megyn Kelly if the bullied staff had put their story out after Oprah, it would have just been lost in the noise. No one would have paid any attention, and it also would have come across as sour grapes. So the only way to make sure that they got heard was to make sure their story came out before Oprah. It's not some evil palace conspiracy. It's just the way these young people suffered, in their view, at the hands of Meghan. They just wanted that to be heard by the rest of the world. Lois said these were people who felt they had suffered while working for Meghan. There is a perfectly valid argument that Meghan suffered in her time in the royal family, but these were other people saying she was not the only victim. Other people were victims too, and it was very important to get that message out before Oprah to say, listen, there's more than one story here. There's more than one narrative. So it's not cynical, it's valid. In November of 2021, Valentine was asked by the BBC whether his original story was licensed by Prince William or had William's approval. Lowe replied, absolutely not. That wasn't the only time former palace aides spoke to the Times. In December of 2022, one anonymous source complained about their confidentiality agreement. They claimed that Meghan knows we can't financially protect ourselves by going to court, so she keeps pushing. It's all a game for her, and she is loving it. The source argued the only way to end it once for good is for us to be allowed to speak and for the palace to firmly reject their lies. Lowe's sources have remained anonymous. However, royal author Tom Bower has been a bit more transparent when it comes to palace turnover. He cited multiple staffers that resigned, including Katrina McKeever, a member of Catherine's communications team, and Melissa Tabati, a personal assistant who claims that Meghan had unattainably precise demands. One royal staffer, quoted by famed historian and royal author Robert Lacey in his book Battle of Brothers, said, Meghan governed by fear. So many people said it. Nothing was ever good enough for her. She humiliated staff in meetings, would shout at them, would cut them off email chains, and then demand to know why they hadn't done anything, the source continued. Sounds a lot like sabotage. While the Sussexes deny the allegations or say things like, it's not my job to coddle people, allegedly, Harry does vaguely address the issue in his book Spare and likely unwillingly confirms some of Valentine Lowe's allegations. The Times of London originally reported that Meghan reduced staff members to tears at Kensington Palace. Fast forward to the release of Spare. Harry describes a poisonous atmosphere in the private office he shared with Prince William, Catherine, Princess of Wales, and Meghan at Kensington Palace. In the summer of 2018, only a few months after their big royal wedding, Harry says nerves were shattered, people were sniping. In such a climate, there was no such thing as constructive criticism. Harry claims all feedback was seen as an affront, an insult. More than once, a staff member slumped across their desk and wept. He continued, for all of this, every bit of it, Willie blamed one person, Meg. He told me so several times, and he got cross when I told him he was out of line. He was just repeating the press narrative, spouting fake stories he'd read or been told. William called Meghan difficult, rude, and abrasive. Of the clash between Prince William and Harry, Tom Bower reported, Harry was outraged, but the accusations, whether justified or not, were a matter of fact. So was a certain level of staff turnover. On the Sun's royal exclusive show, royal reporter Richard Palmer said he watched Meghan and Harry rip apart royal staff and argued no one could do anything right in the eyes of the Sussexes. The Daily Mail's Rebecca English remembers Meghan's trip to the Fiji marketplace in 2018, saying, I was there at the time and witnessed Meghan turn and hiss at a member of her entourage, clearly incandescent with rage about something, and demand to leave. Rebecca wrote, I later saw the same female, highly distressed member of staff sitting in an official car with tears running down her face. Our eyes met, and she lowered hers, humiliation etched on her features. Buckingham Palace completed their investigation into the bullying claims, but refused to release the report publicly ever. Sources say that the late Queen and current King don't want to stir up any additional animosity. Harry and Meghan claim they were never interviewed during the process, but voluntarily submitted a 25-page report in their own defense. 25 pages. The most work they've done in their entire lives. At the time, a spokesperson for Meghan described the accusations as a calculated smear campaign based on misleading and harmful misinformation. Meghan's UK attorney even told a BBC documentary that it was just not true that Meghan was a bully, but she added, that said, she wouldn't want to negate anyone's personal experiences. Meanwhile, Prince Harry claimed Meghan was so negatively affected by the reports that he woke up to find her crying into her pillow. He told Apple Plus's mental health docuseries, The Me You Can't See, before the Oprah interview had aired, because of the media's headlines and that combined effort of the firm and the media to smear her, I was woken up in the middle of the night to her crying in her pillow because she doesn't want to wake me up because I'm already carrying too much. That's heartbreaking. I held her. We talked. She cried and she cried and she cried. But Harry and Meghan's denials have yet to silence critics, and unfortunately for the Sussexes, now their critics are stateside. Meghan was specifically hit with a humbling article in The Hollywood Reporter that magnified rumors that Harry and Meghan's management style is less than stellar, creating a toxic work environment. The Hollywood Reporter's editor-in-chief, Mayor Rashan, spoke to Access Hollywood about their September 2024 piece titled Why Hollywood Keeps Quitting Harry and Meghan Markle. This time it was Los Angeles sources reiterating some of the issues employees faced at Kensington Palace, saying everyone's terrified of Meghan. She belittles people. She doesn't take advice. They're both poor decision makers. They change their minds frequently. With one source arguing that Harry is a very, very charming person, no airs at all, but he's very much an enabler, and she's just terrible. Editor's note, in Valentine Lowe's book Courtiers, Prince Harry is also described by palace staff as a bully. Back in Hollywood, the industry trade publication warned, would you work for Harry and Meghan? Ex-employees say run away. The piece claims Meghan is absolutely relentless and that she marches around like a dictator in high heels, fuming and barking orders. I've watched her reduce grown men to tears. Harry and Meghan pushed back on the mass exodus story by planting a puff piece in Us Weekly magazine, but The Hollywood Reporter's editor-in-chief, Mayor Rashan, defended their story to Access Hollywood, telling the outlet, our reporter talked to, I think, a dozen people. Most of them are people who've worked very closely with the couple in various capacities, now and previously. Alarmingly, he admitted our reporter talked to one very high-up source who works for the couple who said everyone is terrified of Meghan Markle. Rashan continued, Duchess Difficult is a name that's trailed Meghan Markle for quite a few years. What is new is this notion that coming to America that a lot of those rumors were manufactured by the palace. And the reports that we did suggest that that probably isn't true. Even Newsweek admitted the accusations are particularly awkward for Meghan because they do not arise from her old enemy, the British media, who the Sussexes have previously accused of being hand in glove with the monarchy. In the meantime, the Daily Beast started their own investigation into stateside bullying allegations, contrary to some reports. The Daily Beast was told that Josh Kettler's exit, Harry's former chief of staff, was related more to Harry's behavior than Meghan's. But that doesn't mean that the Daily Beast didn't come locked and loaded with plenty of Meghan Markle stories, some going all the way back to Harry and Meghan's wedding. One photographer who was personally invited to pitch their portfolio for the wedding told the Daily Beast, it was incredibly exciting to be asked to present for the wedding. I had to go to Kensington Palace, where I laid out several mood boards in what was then their office. Eventually, Meghan walked in, took one look at what I had prepared, and said in the meanest way possible, no. Then she spun on her heels and walked out. I was left in tears. It was horrible. Another contractor, a florist, told the Daily Beast she would never work with Meghan again. Intriguingly, one former serviceman worked happily in a close and personal capacity for Prince Harry for several years, but left when his role changed and he also had to serve Meghan Markle. He later told friends and family that Meghan was his reason for voluntarily leaving the fold. But the Daily Beast went nuclear following Us Weekly's glowing profile on Duchess secondhand baby clothes Mother Teresa with the headline, Ex-staffers of demon boss Meghan Markle recall psycho moments. One source who allegedly worked with Meghan leading up to her wedding, the second one, called her a narcissist, saying, I always thought she was a classic narcissist, and getting her staff to tell a magazine how amazing she is only confirms that in my mind. They added, she is lovely when it is all going her way, but a demon when the worm turns. Another said, there definitely were bad, very bad, even psycho moments I witnessed. People being chewed up in person and over the phone and made to feel like fecal matter. Will the Meghan Markle bullying allegations ever end? What are your predictions? Let me know in the comments below. If you made it to the end of this video, please comment with the crown emoji or the word queen so I can see you. Make sure you like, subscribe, and share with a friend. Thanks so much for watching. I'm Kinsey Schofield.